says this is the 14th largest meteor sighting they have recorded since beginning their work in 2005. Of course, that color is when it's burning up, interacting with the atmosphere.
Awesome sight. Joining us live to talk about this from the American Meteor Society, I always want to say Meteorological Society because that's us, is Mike Hankey. Mike, thanks for joining us this morning. So how do you go about tracking a meteor?
Well, what we do now is a lot better than what people did, say, 50 years ago or even 20 years ago. The manual way to do it would be to talk in person with all the people, or at least enough people that saw it, and measure where they saw it in the sky in terms of the direction, like north, south, east, west, and how high or low it was in the sky. And then using geometry and triangulation, you can determine the start and end point of the meteor, and then go from there. With the internet and the application that we've built, we've enabled people to be able to do this all online using the Google Map interface, and they place their self on the map where they were, and then they point on the map where they saw the fireball start and end.
Yeah. And speaking of, you call it a fireball, and that's kind of a big misconception, is people think they're hot. But isn't a meteor just ice and rock and that type of...
It's burning up as it's coming through the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, in that moment, it's extremely hot,
right.
Thousands of degrees hot. But the rock itself, or the mass itself, isn't hot. It's not burning. It's the air that's around it that's been ionized and looks like it's on fire, but it's really just light that's ionizing the air around it from the friction.
Oh, wow.
But the name fireball is just it's an astronomical name for a bright meteor.
So, Mike, let's go back to how you're triangulating and finding these things. Do you ever go to the places where you think they may have landed and found pieces of meteor? And what is a unique story?
Yeah.
Like, did it go through somebody's roof or somebody's doghouse? I mean, do you have anything like that?
I mean, that's happened for sure. Personally, the best event I had was last year in Florida, right around this same time, and it was a daytime fireball that landed in essentially a swamp in central North Florida. And it was very much like the Michigan event in that it showed up on the Doppler weather radar, the same radar that you guys show all day long. Meteorites will actually show up on that Doppler radar sometimes as they're falling through the sky. And when that happens, it's just like, I don't know what you'd call it, but you have to go. And the meteorites generally right underneath of where the radar returns are. And I wouldn't say it's easy to find. You still have to put dates into it, but you know exactly where to look.
So did it really take out the dinosaurs and make the Bay of Campeche?
It did take out the dinosaurs.
Good. There you go.
Great question, Abrams. How to end it on a positive note here. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate that. Thanks for talking to us.